Hello, it's day 104, I think. Yes, 104. Okay, I want to watch a video that appeared in my YouTube feed like a week ago, and it's about mid fundamentals. I'm pretty sure. Mid lane fundamentals, I think it was called. Maybe not. Oh yeah, this one. Mid lane fundamentals. By this guy that, as far as I know, it's some dude that is always like saying fundamentals. So I don't know who he is or who is he. But I think he's challenger, so I guess I can learn from him, even though
I hope my teammates are motivated to win.
I don't know which lane he plays. I think he's top lane, I'm not sure, to be honest. But it doesn't matter, like if he's challenger, then he's probably really good at every lane, like even if he played in a different lane that it's not his main lane, you know, or maybe his mid lane, I don't know. Anyways, let's see what he can teach us. Maybe I know all of everything already. Maybe he says you have to farm and then roam when you push, and then in mid game you split push a little bit and then group for objectives. If he says that, then I won't learn anything, but let's see. I can always learn something new. Okay, so yeah, we'll watch like half of the video maybe, and then we'll play as usual. Okay, so let's go. I mute myself as always, and let's go.
I hope my teammates are motivated to win. Okay guys, Riven looks pretty good against these two champions. I get like bro Maul Eclipse. That's
Wait, is this a game where he's being educational? I don't really want that, to be honest. Maybe I should watch this one. Okay, let's see this video. Let's give it a try, okay? Let's see what happens.
Smallest game, GG. I hope my teammates are motivated to win. Okay guys, Riven looks pretty good against these two champions. I get like bro Maul Eclipse. That's the smallest game, GG. Against Vladimir I can't really do much. Rumble's legit I actually think this matchup is fine for Riven. Actually, maybe I should play a bit more TP. Now that I think of it. Like, TP is completely fine. I outskill these guys ultra hard. I don't need Ignite. To be fair, I actually... They went for me. We're good though. They can't kill me. I'm a bad bitch. Oops. Do you have a... You're going back in? Oh. Wait a second. I just gotta keep them aggroed onto me. I was not familiar with the Korean level 1.
He is Faker.
17 haste level 1! 17 haste level 1! I'm gonna play more TP. I think I need to play more TP in this region in general. Yes. I should like that I randomly got TP here. I get level 2 here, which he might not anticipate. Unlucky. He got that XP? Damn, it's like impossible to zone people from mid lane. That last setting though. That was a very bad E by me. Vladimir only wins this matchup before first base. After I hard outskill. We're still perfect CS? Wait, there's no way. What is going on? There's 9 kills. Okay. Oh, you're so sexy, Nami. No, Nami, I hate you. Go. This matchup sucks in mid lane, bro. Actually horrible mid lane. I can't do anything against him. He can freeze this again, but his problem is that he also needs to set up his own recall. He's gonna have to let this crash because he needs to set up his own recall. I'm pretty far behind in XP at the moment, that's the only thing. If I'm level 6, I have a pentakill, but yeah, I don't understand this play. Rough. I'm a full level down in mid.
Block ball, promise you can never pay up. You won't block bitch, promise you can never. Real block ball, promise you can never pay up. You won't block bitch, promise you can never. Real block ball, promise you can never pay up. You won't block bitch, promise you can never. Real block ball, promise you can never pay up. You won't block bitch, promise you can never.
Well, we got away pretty good out of that one. I kinda want solo XP, bro. I'm already down in XP. Oh. They're 5 top. Bro, this game is a fiesta, by the way. For the caster minion, by the way. He did that for the caster minion. He's playing the whole game perfect and then he dies for the caster. Like, that has to be the most Korean thing I've seen. One caster minion. Look at his items. One caster minion. I like to be mid lane for one game though. I'm at least involved in everything. Look at my KP. I'm 6 KP. Feels good. I can actually do stuff on the map. Yeah, the Vladimir matchup is way better than top lane. Finally, the pig is an enemy team. Put me mid, coach. Get me the fuck out of this game, coach. Perma me, coach. Coach. Horny. Thank you, coach. Chat, I don't want to talk about it. This Vladimir, I think, has died 3 times in a row now, not getting a single minion. And that all was a result of one caster minion. League is a game of detail. Aye, why is this guy behind? What's up, Traveler? Nice Q. I'm gonna walk straight line. My aura was so high, he didn't even want to Q. He didn't want to get embarrassed.
Why do you never build BC in KR?
Noob item. I built it a few times. It's because there's barely any full engage comms at the moment. Where's my team?
Whoa.
What's that?
I just built a budgeting app in
plays-
Base 44.
He plays with his camera locked, right? That's interesting. Oh wait.
Where's my team? I wonder how often these double busts have been recycled. Guys, my spacing there with the Qs. What a nice game. What a nice game to have after the last game. We needed one like this. We needed one like this, guys. I'm so happy after this one. This double boss is being transferred around everywhere. Like an STD. Me ribbon. Me ribbon. I wouldn't want to take this. Not a fan of taking this. Thief. Look, this guy one-shots my Graves. It's not where I want to go. Someone needs to die for my death stance to proc. Nope. This game's legit losable, by the way. By the way, that's my flesh went backwards. That was a bug for sure. Oh, this Nami, bro. This Nami is full 1v9. She blocks that. Nah, this Nami is actually crazy. This guy is one of the craziest supports I've ever seen.
Okay, enough. This is just him smurfing in Emerald, so it's just content. So I'm not learning anything actually. I don't know what to do, to be honest. Like, I want to watch something, you know? I want to gain some knowledge every day. But I don't want to be clicking random videos, you know? So, I don't know what to learn, honestly. It's not, I don't mean like that I don't have anything to learn. I'm just saying that there's a lot of things I could learn, and I don't know which one to choose, you know. I don't know, let's watch this video because it's from 2 weeks ago, so maybe some things changed in this season.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another video.
And I've heard a lot of times, like, about Sok. Like I've heard a lot of people recommending him on his channel in order to improve on League of Legends. So I don't know, maybe it's too complex, like his videos are too complex for me yet, but I don't know, let's just watch 10 minutes of this video and let's see what happens.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to talk about everything to do with mage laning in Season 16. Now if you're an assassin player, don't worry, I'm going to make an assassin version of this video coming out probably tomorrow, but in this video in particular we're going to go over several of the most popular mages that are played, how to lane on them, and we're also just going to talk very generally about, you know, what mage laning looks like, so even if you don't play one of these, you know, extremely meta mids, it should still be pretty applicable to what you're playing anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start first with Ori versus Syndra, and the reason is that this is probably the most popular mid matchup of all time. It's been played to death, and it's a really good example of mage versus mage laning. So I'm going to try and talk about this from both players' perspectives, at least to begin with, because it is quite important. It's CFO's mid laner Pengyon up against Rookie on the Syndra. So, the very first thing that we have to talk about, and it's super important, comes up literally every single coaching session, is that level 1 matters a lot. You know, like, level 1 is not something where you can go AFK, where you can be at tower. Level 1 is extremely important. And the reason is that whoever gets to hit the wave first is most likely going to get prior. And if you can get prior, you can get level 2 first, you can get level 3 first, and if you can abuse those level advantages, chances are you have a first base advantage. You can then turn that first base advantage into a bigger advantage, etc, etc. You can see how it snowballs out of control. So what that means is that it's very key that you are playing quite aggressively before the minions even spawn. And if your opponent isn't here, and this is something that I see again all the time in coaching sessions, is that outside of Challenger, people are often very late to the wave. And what you can do is you can get 2 or 3 autos on the enemy creep before it even, you know, enters or before it meets in the middle. And that is almost going to guarantee that you hit level 2 first. Or if your opponent decides to try and match that by using cooldowns on the wave, you will then be able to zone them off and, you know, get prior that way. So you'll probably see this. But again, most important thing, just be contesting the wave level 1. You'll get a lot of free wins just from this. Now, what are we thinking about straight away? So, this is kind of a controversial use of Q, I guess. So let's talk about this. Typically, you try and time your cooldowns when your opponent goes to CS, right? Because it's much higher percentage to use an ability when your opponent is locked in animation, trying to last hit creep, whatever. Now, another reason that you don't really want to use Qs like this is because whenever you use an ability, your opponent is going to try zone you off the wave, right? So see how Orianna moves aggressively here the moment Syndra misses Q, and now Syndra loses the opportunity to auto the wave. So you've got to be very careful using your abilities randomly, and sometimes it's actually just better to hold them if you don't think you can hit them, because again, if you use them at a bad time, you're going to get zoned off. Now, if you do use it though, at a time where it's not super high percentage, the one thing you should try and make sure of is that at least it hits the wave. So obviously this only hit 1 creep, but that does help you get pushed over the wave. I would still say this is a bad Q overall, because I think you are going to lose more push by using it, but there is an argument that you should use your first cooldown on the wave in order to help you generate prior, especially when the wave is grouped up like this. So, as you can see, with this Q being down, Orianna moves forward, which is going to force Syndra away from the wave. And this is going to allow Ori to get autos on the wave. So you can see there she autoed the wave twice before Syndra was able to match an auto of her own, which is going to help generate the prior. Also, if you can ever, you know, if you're ever playing a champion that does have AoE, so it can be Ori Q through the wave, it can be Syndra Q with someone stacked on the wave, the ability to hit the wave and harass your opponent at the same time is again extremely important in mage versus mage, because push, especially on this first wave, it just matters so much. So you can see both players trying to position in a way where they don't, you know, kind of give the enemy the opportunity to harass the wave at the same time. Now, it's a lot harder for Syndra to do that than Ori, because Ori kind of can Q through the wave, but you can see here that Ori, at least if she gets hit by this Q, it's outside the wave, and that means, okay, well, yeah, you took some damage, but you're able to continue getting prior. which is really, really good. So you see this like constant back and forth, like Ori uses a cooldown, which then, you know, Syndra punishes by walking up aggressively. So in this case, basically what's happened is that Ori has traded some of her health in order to secure Pry, which is generally a good trade because you should be able to turn this sort of lead into something bigger, like you can abuse your level 2 advantage. Now, another really important thing of Mage versus Mage is try not actually to push this wave too fast. So I think you could argue that this Q here might be a mistake. And the reason is that if you're slow pushing, right, and you hit level 2, you need to be in a position where you can actually abuse it. And so, like, if the wave is like, let's say the wave is where Syndra is right now, you can kind of walk past and you can potentially zone the enemy off the wave. But if the wave is too close to the enemy turret, there's not as much distance for you to, you know, zone them off, and it can be harder to actually abuse that. So you've got to be a little careful. In fact, you know, I think you'd say that Ori should have positioned there outside of the wave in order to make sure that you don't actually end up pushing at the same time. Basically, you know, because this is kind of getting a bit complicated, the most important thing is you want to secure push, but you don't want to push too fast. You want to make sure that the wave is slow pushing in, and then you can harass your opponent with your level 2 advantage. So this has crashed a little bit too soon, and that's going to make Syndra kind of safe here, which is really, really good, because if Syndra just has a health lead, but doesn't get punished for being down a level, which also kind of happened here, that's really, really good. There's another mistake here by Ori, which I think is pretty important. So when you're coming up to level 2 like this, you know, you're realizing right now, okay, you have traded some HP, but this is your first big window to really snowball, which is that you're going to hit level 2 first, and you can look to heavily punish Syndra. So one thing you gotta be careful of is, like, if you use your Q like this and you're really close to level 2, once you hit level 2 and you don't have Q up, you can't actually abuse that, right? And so despite Syndra being behind in terms of levels, she was able to actually end up trading back here kind of nicely. So you've got to be really careful. Like, I think Ori actually had the better position, but she kind of threw it with the first bag Q through the wave and then a mistimed ability there just before level 2. So, Syndra right now is really, really happy. The wave is coming to her, which when you have a health lead is actually good. Typically, the way you do this is you build your initial lead by shoving, but then once you get your lead, you extend it by kind of keeping it in the middle. And so this has actually ended up as a bad position for Ori, which is, you know, kind of annoying for her. Now, the wave's going to come back out in the middle. One thing I quickly want to talk about before then is, if possible, you want to try, if you are pushing the wave, one of the most important things is to try get some harass on the opponent under turret. So something I see a lot is you guys, like, get the wave in, and then you immediately go and drop a ward or something. Now, in this case, I think they both warded level 1, so it's, you know, not a thing. But what you should do in this scenario is use your abilities on Syndra and then go and drop your ward, because that way it's like you ward kind of during downtime, like while your cooldowns are down, and you're not missing out on any pressure, and you get the reward of getting the wave shoved in, because you can see it's very, very difficult for Syndra to dodge that sort of ability and also to pick up the creeps. So yeah, now the wave's going to reset out in the middle, so it's more or less back to being even, except Syndra has a 2 health potion advantage. So this is another position that I see you guys in quite a lot, and it's one thing to build advantages, right? Like, that's stuff like, you know, harassing on CS and, you know, better positioning, wave control, etc. But extending advantage is very important as well. So once you have some sort of lead, whether that's a health lead, in this case 2 pots, could be a level lead, could be item lead, whatever, you need to look to force trades and get more aggressive. So the way to do that is to try and position a bit more aggressively on the wave. So particularly when your opponent uses cooldowns, you want to start moving up very aggressively. You can see here, this time, the level 3 advantage is going to be quite favorable for Syndra, right? Was able to walk up and get the damage. Now, a little thing here that I want to point out that I don't see very often is, if you're trying to hit a skill shot, and you're not sure you are going to hit it, it's normally better to auto-attack first. So let's look at this. See here how Syndra auto-attacks the Ori before W. The reason is that if Ori autos you back, that's a guaranteed ability. You drop the W on her, super easy. If Ori doesn't auto you back, then you're up 1 auto, and that's really, really good. So a lot of the time, especially when you're stronger and you know that if your opponent fights you back, you're going to win, you want to start the trade by using an ability. And this is extremely important for champions that have, like, a really key ability they need to hit. So like LeBlanc Chain, Ahri, Charm, you know, Zoe Bubble, even Syndra Stun, right? There's a lot of them like that. And one of the big differences between, you know, say like an average laner that plays mages and someone who's really good at it is actually how they use those auto attacks. Now, was able to get out here with the Phase Rush, but has a very significant health lead, you can see here. And so this is like your first goal, I guess, or your first milestone in Mage versus Mage, or actually any matchup, is if you can force your opponent into a position where they are lower CS than you and they're forced to base before you, you should base up items. So this is perfect. If you can make your opponent base one wave before you, what that means is you not only get like one extra wave of creeps, right? So you get one whole extra wave to spend gold. Even if Ori kills all these minions, she won't get to spend that gold until the next base. So you're going to be up gold from that. And also just because you were on the map longer, you know, you've earned more gold just passively. So you will TP back with an item advantage. So see here how Ori has total spent of 550, whereas Syndra has total spent of, what is this, like 750, which is really, really nice. And in theory, your item advantage now can be used to trade heavier and heavier. Okay, so come back to lane. Now, I will say in this particular spot, it's not quite as obvious, or it's not quite as true, I guess, that the item advantage is here. This, we don't need to talk about too much. It's a bit more complicated, but Matter Resist is very, very OP. So it's possible that Ori's buy is actually stronger right now than Syndra's buy. But most of the time, if you spend more gold, you'll be stronger. So anyway, let's kind of see how the lane goes from here. I actually think we've covered the main things that I want to see from this VOD anyway. But yeah, let's skim over a little more. So Syndra is going to have to respect a little bit. Currently, Ori is the one in control, right? Like Ori is the one pushing, and Syndra kind of has to wait until the wave, you know, kind of resets and she gets the ability to push out. And look for kind of regaining control. Ori is quite strong in the 1v1 against Syndra at this stage of the game, but the big advantage Syndra has is that she has the gank setup. Something I should quickly mention, because I did actually forget, is that it is currently meta, especially in Mage vs. Mage, where there's a lot of skill shots, to run Celerity and Movement Speed Shard. You'll find that this makes life a lot easier, right? You can see, you know, they've both got, actually, okay, Ori doesn't have the MS Shard, but does have Celerity. Syndra has both. I would recommend taking both in these sort of matchups. It's going to make it a lot easier to dodge skill shots, and since that's what these matchups are all about, you know, like you can even see here, right? Like if the movement speed is the difference between dodging this Q or dodging this QW, like you prevent literally like hundreds of damage just off that. So movement speed is incredibly OP, and it's possible that you actually should have gone tier 1 boots here, maybe over Darksteel, just to make sure that you have all that extra ability to dodge skill shots and stuff. MS Shard, but does have Celerity. Syndra has to run Celerity and Movement Speed Shard. You'll find that this makes life a lot easier, right? You can see, you know, they've both got, actually, you'll find that this makes life a lot easier, right? You can see, you know, they've both got, actually, okay, Ori doesn't have the MS Shard, but does have Celerity. Syndra has both. I would recommend taking both in these sort of matchups. It's going to make it a lot easier to dodge skill shots, and since that's what these matchups are all about, you know, like you can even see here, right? Like if the movement speed is the difference between dodging this Q or dodging this QW, like you prevent literally like hundreds of damage just off that. So movement speed is incredibly OP, and it's possible that you actually should have gone tier 1 boots here, maybe over Darksteel, just to make sure that you have all that extra ability to dodge skill shots and stuff. So yeah, we're not going to look at this lane too much longer, but I do just want to kind of like get to the point where there's the next cash in. So again, in theory, like if you base with item advantage, you should be able to like force trades and win out. And you can kind of see that here, like the Syndra is getting control. You know, the trades are favorable to her. Now you might be wondering why base on this wave, and this is maybe the biggest difference in this season. So the problem is now, since home guards are so fast, you can actually get back to lane very quick, and on cannon waves especially, if you don't have a lot of mana or you don't have a lot of push power, it can be very difficult to shove this wave in. Now I actually think it's possible that on Syndra specifically you could have shoved this wave, and the reason is you can kill the normal creeps and then W the cannon and take it back to your turret. But you want to be very careful, like especially if you're playing a champion that doesn't have the wave clear here, and your opponent bases on a cannon wave, just be very careful, because what you don't want is to, you know, shove the wave and not be able to get it all the way in, and then it ends up like frozen on the enemy turret, and there's like nothing you can do to actually punish. Now, something that I've been mentioning a lot in coaching as well, sorry to keep bringing up the coaching, but I keep remembering it, is one of the, I guess, rules I like to give myself is your very first wave back on the map, you typically want to push and set up vision. Now, if you don't have any vision, so in this case, like there's no ward and there's no vision bot side and no vision top side, unless you know where the enemy jungler is, so in this case we know jungler's bot, you need to be quite safe. And I very often see you guys, you know, come to lane with, you know, trinkets available, but you don't place them and you try and like hit the plates before placing your vision. I'd really not recommend doing that. Like place your vision first, get yourself in a position to play aggro. Obviously here Lee Sin's dead and was showing, so it's very easy. And that's why Syndra's able to move up so much. I often get comments on my videos of like, how can you play so aggressively without getting ganked? And the reality is that like, while you can't be immune to ganks all the time, you can get pretty close. Like if you place your vision correctly, you know, like if you're doing stuff like pink here, ward here, or on the other side, you can do the same thing. If you're hugging correctly, if you're playing towards your jungler, there's a lot of tricks you can do in order to avoid jungle ganks. And if you are dying to jungle ganks, that's one of the easiest ways to lose the game, obviously. Like you can lose the game very easily just from dying to a jungler once, or even just getting chunked because it's going to ruin your lane. So I think I'm going to go to the next VOD. Basically, the way this goes is Syndra outscales Ori in the 1v1. It gets better and better, like especially after level 7. So like, yeah, eventually Syndra just gets too strong and outscales. But the most important things I want you guys to take away from this VOD is, 1, your goal is to create some sort of lead and base with a first base advantage. If you can do that, that's like your very first step to carrying a game as a mage. Next thing I want you guys to think about is how important level 1 is. Level 1 is so unbelievably crucial. Getting prio in the first 2 or 3 waves matters a lot. And the last thing is just making sure you're setting up your vision, because if you ever have any deaths or any chunks to the jungler, it's extremely, extremely bad. And if you are having those in your games, it's really worth going back and seeing is there anything you could have done to prevent it, because it's just so impactful. Our next example is Orianna versus Akali, and range versus melee and
Okay, enough. It's been half an hour already, so let's play. So he said a lot of things, and sometimes I am a little bit confused. I don't know if it's because I'm like noob in League of Legends, or if I'm just dumb and I'm unable to understand what he's saying. But he said a lot of things that, I mean, I don't think they matter here, like in bronze or low, just low ranks. I don't want to say that I'm going to ignore what he says, because I don't think that matters in this elo. Because maybe they do, maybe I'm just bad. Wait, I cannot do 2 things at once. Give me a minute. Okay, I don't want to say that I'm not going to do what he says, because in this elo I don't think it matters in low ranks. Because maybe they do, like, he's better than me, obviously, he's challenger, I think. And if I do what he says, then I should be winning more, like, you know, like, that's going to be better. But all of the things about if you hit the 1 minion before your enemy, you can snowball and win, like, well, not win, but you know, you can get the advantage. I don't think that's going to happen here, like in bronze, not even in platinum, probably. Like, you know, like I will try, right? But or being in the middle of the lane, I usually come out from the bush, because I want to hit a long range Q to the caster minions, so I can't be in the middle of the lane, you know. Like, it's not a good position for me. I think, like, I've been doing that since one Emerald guy told me to do that, and I've seen Challenger Zoes do that. Well, I think only one video I saw one Challenger Zoe doing that, but I mean, if they do that, then it's probably a good habit, right? Well, I wanted to check the runes because he said that mages should be going with, well, I don't know the names, but movement speed start, and I don't have that one, I think. But still, like, again, I don't think that really matters in this low elo. Like, I will have it in mind, okay? Like, now I know it, I will think about it, but for now, I mean, I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to focus now. Probably going to mute myself.
Baja un poco esos humos. La luz estelar es algo en su interior que arde por salir. Ir a dar una vuelta. ¿Qué les gusta a los chicos? Yo no haría eso. A todos nos llega el día en el que cumplimos nuestro...
I shouldn't have recalled there, but I don't know. I should have committed, I think, to pushing him, ignite him, and probably I would kill him.
Eras una cacota. Baja un poco esos humos. la mar de tranquila. Me gusta este mundo. Espero que... La 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 lu, la 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 lu.
Ha muerto un aliado. Hacha de asesinato. Asesinato doble enemigo. Ha muerto un aliado.
Algo frío.
Ha muerto un aliado. Asesinato doble.
El amanecer y el anochecer son lo mismo, por lo que hay espacio. Oh, podría ser. Seré feliz mientras espero.
Tu equipo ha destruido una torreta. Tu equipo ha destruido una torreta.
que todo esto
Sigue
esté a
sonando
punto
como
de
el
cambiar.
primer día.
Targon tiene
Again, I feel that I got carried by Kog'Maw, and we won because of that. I don't feel like I have learned anything, to be honest. I mean, yeah, I played safe, I guess. I didn't die too much. But I didn't do anything different. So I'm wondering, whenever I lose a game, what changed? Like, did I do worse? Or, like, let's see my, oh my god, the damage. He only gets an S, he doesn't get an S plus, so how does that work? Oh my god, 83,000. I've never seen that. Wait, Jinx did a lot of damage as well. That's insane. 9.3 minions per minute. Wow. Why is he bronze? I don't know, man. I just want to learn something. What did I learn in this game? I mean, I tried to play with the team, as I said these last days. I was going to try to farm less and go more with the teams, like with the team. I guess I did that, but I don't know, man. I didn't feel like I did anything in particular. Like, I think if I played like I played this game in Platinum, I wouldn't win. I will have to do something better in order to be able to win, like, you know? Like, I feel like I just got lucky here. This guy just killed everybody somehow. I don't know how he managed to do a 1v3. Well, not 1v3, a 2 versus 3, because he was with Nami. I don't know, man. Anyways, I don't know what to say. I guess that's it for today. See you next time, I guess. Bye.